Hi Star Wars fans and welcome to the channel. On today's video it's the continuing series of Back Then and Now, and today we're going to look at some troopers. Oh yeah, we got the TIE pilot, attack driver, Snowtrooper, and of course won't be the same without the biker scout. We'll take a look at the original vintage one here. Look at this, all black with his grey gloves and grey boots, compared to like all the rest of the more modern figures now where we're just all in one colour. I'm surprised they actually did the actual grey boots and gloves, and we got the strange, it's very strange looking blaster. It's a weird one, isn't it? Why they didn't just give us a E11, very odd, but yeah, it's something different, isn't it? We had a bit of paint on it, a couple of blotches of kind of orangey red, and of course we've got the logos here, the Imperial cogs, very nice. These are more, this well, my loose one here is a very more, you got a thicker white. If we look at the carded one in a minute, there's sort of a more, it's a lighter print, but of course they vary, they do vary. I always thought though this helmet is a very pointy, isn't it? If you sort of look there, it's a very pointy helmet. Of course, it's still got those bubble lenses that we that you kind of get in the stormtrooper helmet as well. You've got the pipes on it. It's a great looking figure. There's a few marks on it. I've got a few bits of paint wear, but it's hardly been played with. It's in very good condition. If we take a look at now the carded version here, you can see how the cogs are very sort of more defined. It's a great looking car back. We've got the price sticker on here. Emporium Campwell, that says there at the very top of the price sticker. Yeah. It's got a few creases on it. A lot of my figures, a lot of my carded figures have got sort of the old crease and stuff. I'm not that worried about the old crease on the vintage ones. It just looks like they've been trying to get minty mint ones now. Expensive. Let's take a look at the back. There we go. See, all collect all 65. We've got the blacked out Ewoks on the back. We got the Chewbacca belt, Y-wing, and the lovely VAT metalized C-3PO. That's one thing I'd still love to pick up in the collection, really would. But yeah, we had this great picture. I mean, there's only like 4 or 5 carded figures that have got vehicles on them, which is different. But I really would love to see a re-release on the vintage collection with the TIE pilot on a Star Wars card with the actual, just him sitting inside the cockpit. That would be really nice. Sort of that sort of look you see near the end of the film. Because, you know, the TIE pilot, TIE fighters are in out loads in New Hope. And of course we got them in Rogue One. We could get it on a Rogue One card. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Now we're going to look at the TVC version. Same sort of picture. Vast improvement to the figure now. It's nice. We've even got, you can see it, we've got the silver on there. We've got the little bit of writing on the mohawk. Even the cogs are silver. We've got the different type blaster here, which is nice with a massive scope on it. It's great. We've still got the bubble lenses, the pipes, loads of detail on the chest box. There's a colour. It's great. Of course, we didn't get any holsters. If you watch the New Hope for a Star Wars film, if you watch the actual TIE fighter pilots, they weren't carrying any holsters or weapons. You don't expect to really carry weapons when you're a pilot, do you? But it's such a nice car back. That tie there is definitely more detailed than the original, which is a bit blurry. Take a look at the back, see what wave these figures came with. Yeah, so we got the droid, the armor, Captain Rex, Mandalorian. So this is quite a recent re-release, but I had to get it. I never got it before, so I missed out. Now we take a look at the 40th anniversary, the 6-inch version. This is lovely. Great to see it on an Empire Strikes Back card. Of course, yeah, we've got these silver cogs on the helmet, which is nice. There are many versions of TIE Fighter helmets. I mean, some people like the white cogs on it, some people like the silver. They sort of varied through the film. We've got the Mohawk as well, which is plain. Some of the Mohawks were painted on the top with the silver and the numbers. I think they were more sort of like specialised individual sort of TIE pilots, or like the commanders, or like the squad leader. And we've got the E11 there, which is really cool. Got a big holster. I just love these 40. These big ones are great, and hopefully we'll get Return of the Jedi ones. But will we get bubbles? This is the question. Are Hasbro going to ruin this great look? We'll never know. But yeah, here we go. That's the wave. Great wave of figures. You know, Luke, Snowspeeder, a Rebel Hoth Trooper. What a great figure. Right, we're going to take a look at the AT-AT driver now. Or AT-AT pilot. I think it's a driver, isn't he? I love this as another cool classic figure. I love it. We've got the shoulder bells here. They are exactly the same as the Snowtrooper shoulder bells. All they did was just turn them upside down, so you've got the raised bumps on the bottom, which is a nice fact. I do love this thing. It's got some very simple black marks. Of course, you've got the cogs on the helmets. There's variations in the cogs and the colours. This is sort of an orange, sort of blurred. You've got the, if you look at the Cardiff one in a minute, they're more of a red, more defined. They gave us this really crazy, ridiculous rifle. I never understand why they gave the driver. They had to give him something. Why they just didn't give him a smaller pistol of some sort. Same pistol like the TIE pilot had. Maybe just done it in black or white. That would be intriguing. But yeah, we've got this lovely detail on the back here of the armour. We've got the mark. And then this little red mark is on some of the AT-ATs, and then you can actually see in the film they actually peeled the actual tape off, and if you look really carefully you can see the outline of like they just peeled it off and filmed it again. So just to make various different drivers. So I think this was like a sort of, you've got the squad leader or a leader maybe with a red bit. But yeah, you've got the pipes. Very detailed helmet. But the eyes are very bulgy. Okay, let's look at the carded version. I love this card. It's another one of my favourites actually. I've grown to love this one. I didn't at first, but this is what I'm saying about, we need one like this with the TIE pilot. Just the headshot would be really nice with the background, maybe the cockpit sort of illuminated. But yeah, this is a lovely one. This is a Palatoy one. They removed the cannon, and it does look nice. The more you see of the card back, the better, and it's lovely. So we can take a look, see how the cog is. It's hard to see, but the cog is if you put it, you have to put the other figure next to it, but it's definitely, the loose one is more of an orange. This is more of a red. You can see a bit more of the defined of the cog, but I just love the cool details there on the chest box. Get some press studs and all sorts of bits. We've got the dangly bits here, which are actually soda stream parts. You would actually screw your cylinder from your soda stream into that piece, slot that in, and then you would make your fizzy drinks. There's people that remember soda stream. Lots of little pieces. Now we'll look at the back. Yeah, so this is the 45 back. It's nice, isn't it? Nice selection of figures. Special offer. Num nub. Yeah, I've got one little dink. You can just see it there where my thumb is pointing. Little dink there in the card. And there's a little crease at the top, but it's such a lovely card, this. And to have a big clear bubble on a Return of the Jedi as well is quite nice. There's a few marks on it, but yeah, to have one in that condition is nice. And we'll finish off with the Black Series one. This is the first release of the Black Series ATAT driver. I love the detail there on the chest box. They had to give it something, didn't they? Because it's a pretty otherwise bland figure, but they got the boots right. We got the strap in, the big white welder's gloves. We've got the shoulder pads there, the big pipes. But I always think the helmet's a little bit, I don't know, just the way it sits on there. It looks a little bit squashed. I think it's the way it sits in a box, but of course we get the E11, which is nice. I think this one has got a weird, this has got a sticker, imported by Entertainer. Yeah, I got this one in the Entertainer. It's got, if you notice, it's got the 2 different languages on there. So it's got the French as well, I'm guessing. So 31. Yeah, see, look at that picture there. Helmet's massive. Okay, we're going to take a look at the Snowtrooper now. There's a lovely vintage Snowtrooper in white. With his lovely, he's got his great vinyl skirt. I always love the detail on the back of this backpack. Some nice detail. It doesn't look actually anything like the actual backpack that was in the film, but it's great, isn't it? Of course, we've got this extremely ridiculous large weapon as well. This blue blast long rifle. It's a shame we just didn't get an E11. Why they didn't just give it a black E11? I never understand. Maybe they didn't know back then. They just wanted to give it something more, but the picture sort of gives it away, doesn't it, in some ways? But yeah, such a nice figure. Of course, you got variations of the brow as well. The actual, say, the brow. You can get the unibrow, it's called, where the actual both eyes are joined together with paint. I always wished they'd done a Snowtrooper Commander in a vintage figure. That would have been cool, wouldn't it, if we'd had an extra figure for the retro collection. But maybe, hopefully in the future, we will get a Snowtrooper Commander in the vintage collection, which would be very nice. And then maybe a Black Series one. Because he's only seen in the film for a second, if that. But there is a Black Series 3.75 Commander out there. Let's take a look at this carded version. This is another Palatoy carded version. This is weird. This is a hybrid. So this is a tri-logo bubble on a Return of Jedi card. So they were just about to go over to the tri-logo. This is the sort of thing they did. They were about to go over to the tri-logo card, but of course they had a load of these in the factory, so they probably just used them, what they had. There's a few bits of dinks and that to it, but it's something different, isn't it? It's a variation with a tri-logo bubble. The actual, you can see that the skirt has come off, and so you can see where, like, people try to make copies of skirts. They just put a slit, and you can actually see there's actually holes, circles cut to, and then there's a line cut, so you can always tell the difference. A lot of repros, they won't have those 2 circular dots. But yeah, such a nice, clean, but it's such a cool picture, that. Such a cool picture. Imperial Stormtrooper. We all know it's a Snowtrooper. In Hoff gear it says, but we always know it's a Snowtrooper. Another Collector 65. See if we have a look on the back here. But 37. It even says it there. We're looking very close. Imperial Stormtrooper. Yeah, it is really a Stormtrooper it is, isn't it, really? You can think about it. It is a Stormtrooper with just different gear on. But yeah, we like to call it Snowtrooper. It's a cool figure. And I've always wanted the blue stars, the bootleg one. I've always loved that blue one. I've always wished they would actually, even if someone would bring out I know people paint them, but even if someone brought out, like Stan Solo brought out a blue Snowtrooper, that would be really cool. I'd love one of them. Just think they're wicked. Yeah. Okay, now we have the Black Series one. I love this. Okay, you can see from the picture there he's all white, but when you see in the film when they do look a bit yellow and a bit dirtified, you know, they've got a bit of dirt and they do look sort of weathered. Some people don't like it, some people like just the pure white Snowtrooper, but I like there's more of a sort of a wedge there. There's actually like a breathing apparatus under that veil, which is nice. It's not his nose, it's actually a mask, a breathing apparatus, which is really cool. We've got the backpack there, it's nice, and we've got the long blaster. We've got the 11 at the bottom, it's nice. You've got a nice variation there, sort of a little hint back to the original, the vintage figure. There we go, here's my loose biker scout. It's a little bit, the light is making him look a bit yellow. The helmet's a little bit, but otherwise it's a lovely looking figure. Come with a great big gun, doesn't it? I mean, the biker scout has got one of the smallest weapons, but of course they made it that size, you'd lose it definitely, wouldn't you? So they've had to make it sort of kind of bigger, but it's nice. There's some real nice detail on this weapon. You can actually see the scope there, and yeah. And of course they did release this as a toy as well, the biker scout. That's one thing I wish I really had. They £400-500 now cut in a box. They go for a lot of money, they do, a lot of money, but there's some lovely detail on this biker scout. So we get the backpack there, not much detail, some vent marks, little markings, nothing much else. That's such a cool figure. Very, very comfortable costume to wear, that's all I say. Okay, now we'll take a look at the Cardiff version. That's my Cardiff version. So this is a Kenner version. Bubble's a little bit yellow. There's a slight bit of marking on the bottom there, but it's a few bits. There's a few creases in the card. I don't think there's many I've got that are like mint. They've always got a little bit of a dink somewhere. Of course, that was cheaper. They were cheaper. Of course, now they are getting crazy prices, especially troopers. People really sought after for troopers, and this is kind of the main one for Return of the Jedi. That's such a nice one. Collector 77. Lovely. And of course, look, I always forget to look at Big Fortuna there. Look, he's got the sort of the reddy bourbon sort of yeah. The cape's slightly different to what we actually got. Sort of maroon, yeah, reddy maroon. That's great though, isn't it? Seeing it there. And you can see old if you look at old Lando there in his skiff disguise, look at his legs are all white. It's like they've just sort of put some of these figures, there are prototypes on there, which is really cool. But yeah, I do love it. Such a cool looking figure. Okay, and recently in the vintage collection we've had the Scout Trooper again from the Fallen Order game. It was a great addition to this in the game. I thought it was great how they reused the Scout Trooper, gave him some extra pieces. He's got this shock baton now with his power pack which he carries on a harness. The helmet is still a little bit iffy. If they do ever bring this out again in just a standard figure, which we keep wanting with the Biker Scout in a box, hopefully they'll do some work to that, because the actual lens, the eye lens is very narrow, It's great. So it's a great car bat. I love what they've done to it. So this is the blue. This is my original Black Series loose one. I love this one. Right, some people don't like the visor on this helmet. As you can see, it's very wide. But if you look at the Mandalorian one in a minute, we'll look at the Mandalorian one. They have changed it. They've They've changed the sculpt on the helmet slightly, but it's nice. You've got all the decal markings on here. Got some nice detail to the backpack. Some weathering on the boots there. I love that. Bit of mud or something. Nice, and got a bit of weathering on the knees. It's a lovely figure. Brilliant bike as well. Very poseable, so you can change the stand to different. But because it's on a ball joint, you can have it. You can have them going around corners and all sorts. It's great. Going up, going down. You can really sort of have fun with this. You can even sort of, if you can get it clever enough to actually remove him or actually sit him, sort of leaning against it, which is a famous Gentle Giant statue they brought out, which is very clever. They hid the rod through the leg, so you mounted the bike to the figure, locked it together, and he looked like he was leaning against it, and it was levered. It was clever, very clever. But this is such a nice bit. It's got a bit of weathering on it. We've always got this thing. I've always wondered what that is. It's got to be like a tool bag, isn't it? Or accessories, or it could be a sleeping bag. I'll take a look at the back of this. It's got some detail. These flaps, the dreaded flaps, are always missing on the vintage one. That's like one thing I've not actually got. I don't own a vintage speeder bike. Probably because I've got this, I've never really bothered. So I do like this one. It's such a cool one. Okay. Now we'll finish off with the piece that everyone really loves. This is really sought after. This was an Amazon exclusive. Great looking thing. Of course, we've got the white speeder bike now. We've got baby Yoda there sitting in a little bag. That's what I was saying about the actual helmet. The actual lens there, the eye lens is it's a bit more pointed, weathered. You've got the stand there. It's very nice and very sought after, and very going crazy prices now. Very hard to find. Just lucky enough. There we go. Look at the back. Isn't that cool? Thank you everyone for watching my latest Troopers video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who watched my last video, the Sith with Darth Vader and the Emperor. It went crazy. It went over 2,500. I was really shocked. I just want to say thank you, and I guess I've got some new people here watching, so if you are new to the channel, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave some great comments. Just want to say a big thank you to my Patreons, and a big thank you to my channel members. If you're interested in being a channel member, please follow the link in the description. Okay, I hope you'll come back and watch the next video in the next week or so. Okay guys, see you next week. Bye.